Getting back into Age of Empires 2 and playing through the William Wallace Campaign was a lot of fun, but ultimately the William Wallace Campaign is just a tutorial that had the story attached to it. There are several other campaigns that came with the original game and with the original expansion that I want to revisit, and in some cases finish for the first time, that aren't tutorials, and today is the time to start the first of those, Joan of Arc. Our introduction to this talks about the desperation the French are feeling while fighting against the English and about this French maid that has inspired people. The first scenario, an unlikely martyr, is simply us taking the Maid of Orleans, Joan, to Chinon. We have a small amount of soldiers and we have to be careful, which is why when we go south and we spot a battle, we avoid it. After a bit more of a journey, we find a town. In that town we get some more men, not really much of an army, but it's enough to fight through a Burgundy outpost. We head to what's meant to be an allied town. Unfortunately it's a trap. Fortunately there's two transport ships right there, which was very convenient. Next we just walk up into the castle, or to the castle at Chinon, and boom, mission complete. Pretty easy so far, but I already knew it was going to get harder. We move on to the next mission, the Maid of Orleans. We start in a similar way, although with better men, and this time Joan's on a horse and can actually fight. Our mission involves us heading to Blois? This one I don't know, which is a pretty easy journey, and once there we get a decent sized army. We also have the supplies to get to Orleans, which we'll need to escort there. We head over to Orleans with no real issue, and boom, we get it. It tells us we have to protect the cathedral, but in truth there's never much threat to it. We fend off a couple of minor fights before we take our improved army and our battering rams, smash through the walls, and then smash through the castle. With our battering rams it doesn't take long, and that is the second scenario done nice and easy. It'll be the last time I say that though, because we're moving on to the third one, Cleansing of the Loire? Again, my French pronunciations aren't great. This is a challenge and a half. Our goal is to destroy 3 English castles, but we do not have the men to do it, so we have to build our own towns and collect resources while we make an army that can fight. No matter how we do it, it's going to take a while. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all my failed attempts, of which there were several, and instead I'll just talk you through what worked. There's 2 additional armies to fight other than the English, Falstaff's army and Burgundy. Best way to stop them being a problem? Eliminate them before they become a problem. As I task my villagers to collect resources and build houses, I split my army in half and send them off. It is the best way to handle it. We have very few men at this point, but neither enemy is ready for us. We take up Burgundy very quickly before we head to Falstaff's base and eradicate the whole thing. He himself will spawn in later with some men, but once we defeat those, he won't be able to do any kind of counterattack. Which otherwise, and I know this from experience, he will. He'll keep throwing men at you, but with his base gone, he can't. With that done, we get our base built, which was easy because we got a ton of wood while my armies were busy. After that, we destroy the first castle, nice and easy because we were ready for it, and then Falstaff's army comes for us. Once he's dead, he resigns. That's 2 sides down, just England to go. Taking those 2 castles down, the combination of battering rams and petards, which I used to great effect, finally finishing the mission. Onwards to scenario 4, the Rising. We have 3 cities we need to conquer. First we have a camp to find. Once more we have a limited army to escort Joan there, and once there it's clear we need to build up a city and our army. It seems like this is very similar to the last one, although it's a lot easier, or it feels a lot easier than last time, although if I'm being honest, it's probably because I know how to do it. Taking the city of Chalons is easy though, because it didn't have any walls, only one does, which again will make it easier than the last mission. The second city was even easier. I used a priest to convert a cannon galleon while taking the first city. Turns out the second town centre is right by the coast and has no defence against ships. So I just send that unit there and destroy it, and boom, done. I made an attempt at destroying the wall, but alas, while my army did survive, the siege weapons did not. I decided to give petards a go, but they weren't much good, so instead I went for trebuchets. They worked a lot better. We got in there attacking the town centre, ready to win, and just as it fell, so did Joan, which is an automatic loss. God damn it. It was fine though. I reloaded and autosave, repeated what I did before, the only difference being that I sent Joan far away from the action. With that done, we head to the Siege of Paris, and at last, a good sized army to start with. With that army, it's easy to get into Paris and rescue refugees, and god damn it, Joan died again! It's annoying this keeps happening. Trying again, we get to where the reinforcements are supposed to be, and it's one scout. Yeah, we've been betrayed, so we better get out of there. We use our army to clear the way with the refugees following behind, and after a brief battle with Burgundy that it was never in doubt we would win, we get to the final city and mission accomplished. Downside to all of that is, alas, Joan has been captured, and that leads us to the final mission, a perfect martyr, where we take on the final assault in her name, since she's now well and truly dead, although at least this time I didn't do it. We have to plant a French flag on a certain hill to inspire the troops, but of course that hill is very far away, with a lot of enemies between us and them. This one had some failed attempts too. We'll skip over them and go to the one that actually worked. Now this is a bit like Scenario 3, where it's best to knock out the allies of the main enemy before we go after them. So that's what we do. We take out and take over the Burgundy fortress, and then wasting no time we head north to take out the Earl of Shrewsbury's forces. Like on Scenario 3, we have more than enough men to do that. With that done, we head south and knocked out the remaining Burgundy forces before we turn our attention to the main foe. Originally, I thought I was meant to build up my forces to take them down, but from what I saw, it's actually impossible to do that, because we can build and harvest and stuff like that, but the upgrades on many units, including the ones we need, are disabled. So it seems like we're meant to do this with the original army. So that's what I do, taking our depleted forces and slowly smashing my way through. At the end of the day, I don't have to conquer the land, I just have to clear the way for the cart. I get that done, or at least I think done, before I charge in and get my cart destroyed by a tower I didn't know was there. Thankfully I saved before. Next time I get rid of it, send the cart in, and we're done. Both with that scenario and with the whole campaign. Once more the English are defeated, and I guess I've also won because I'm English, and that is our first major campaign done. And I'm so happy to have this finished. It was fun, and it's one that I don't remember how far I got as a kid, but I know I never finished it, so I'm very happy to have changed that. That being said, I was warned this was going to get harder, and it did. Oh boy it did, but we still beat it. So that's us done on Age of Empires 2 for now, but of course we will return. And we shall return for the next campaign, which will be Saladin. I'll see you then.
Already, statues and stained glass portraits have been commissioned in hundreds of towns and cities throughout France. The verdict of guilt was rightfully reversed, and I expect that Joan of Arc will soon be beatified as a saint. Sometimes the outcome of history is determined by strength of arm.